Welcome to Criminalist Behavior Podcast, the podcast that takes you deep into the heart of Louisiana's history and current most chilling true crime stories. Each week, we dig deep on those forgotten crimes or those crimes currently happening with the underlying legends that continue to haunt us. So lean in, listen, and get ready, because true crime is anything but ordinary. Stay with me as we unravel what happened in those mysteries. Y'all, remember, the pain of victims never truly fade. It echoes through generations. So, today we're going to be talking about the case, the mysterious disappearance of Jessica Durning. And this is episode number 26. If this is your first time listening, hi, my name is Sarah Sidier, and I'm your host for Criminalist Behavior Podcast. Thank you for listening to the show, and I really hope that you enjoy it. So, we're going to jump right in. But before we do that, I want to give a trigger warning right quick. This episode may contain content of a graphic nature, including descriptions of physical and sexual violence against adults, children, and animals. Listener discretion is advised. So, there may not be many names that spring to mind when you think about famous Louisiana murders. Almost all of the names on the different law enforcement agency websites list of Louisiana murders may sound foreign to you. But a handful of people on the various list of all murders in Louisiana, list of Louisiana murders, and notorious Louisiana criminals that have been recognizable over time. According to the 2019 Uniform Crime Report, also known as the UCR report, issued by the FBI, the violent crime rate in Louisiana is about 549.3 per 100,000 Louisiana inhabitants. In summary, this shows that in 2019 alone, nearly 550 people per 100,000 people living in Louisiana were directly impacted by violent crimes, which may include rape, sexual assault, homicide, robbery, or any other forms of assault. And according to that same report in 2019, the murder rate in Louisiana was about 11.7 per 100,000 residents of Louisiana, which indicates that nearly 12 people die by homicide per 100,000 residents in Louisiana. And that was in 2019. And I don't know about y'all, but every time I look at the news, I look at any social media platforms, y'all, Louisiana's crime rate is soaring. And it's not even just Louisiana. Crime in general, it is ridiculous. You cannot look at the news or any social media without shots fired, murder, robbery, break-ins, peeping toms, rape. What? It has been at its vast high and is steadily increasing. It is disturbing. I don't know why we haven't so much. I mean, I get now that we have like all these social media platforms. So like, I guess it's more accessible to be reported or whatnot. I just don't know if crime rate was literally this bad, let's say 20 years ago, 30 years ago, 40 years ago. It's been bad. Due to its relatively large size of population, Baton Rouge, Louisiana, murders are seemingly more common. And several recent and decade-old murders in Baton Rouge have been solved or have seen some type of resolution. Law enforcement continues to look into and investigate the remaining murders that are unsolved. And missing people, trafficking. Human trafficking is, y'all, I can't even, it is so sad that all of this is happening. We got to do better as a society, as a state of Louisiana. Louisiana is a very beautiful state, but we should not be known for a high crime rate. That is not us. We need to do better. We need to do better. So, I'm going to stop with those statistics, but within the last few years, DNA technology has been extremely advancing at a very rapid rate. And it has led to the resolutions of hundreds, if not thousands, of cold cases from around the world to be solved. And those who use crime ancestry DNA or anything like that, it all gets put into a database. And even if it's not you that commits a crime and it's one of your relatives, that can still be linked to someone. So, you're not gonna not get caught. You're gonna get caught. Somebody's gonna talk, somebody's gonna see something. DNA, oh my God, mitochondrial DNA. That is where most of these cases come from. It is crazy. And Crime Stoppers offers rewards on all felony crimes with 9 parishes served. And the standard reward is up to $2,500 for information that leads to an arrest and $5,000 for indictment on arrest for homicides. And occasion, depending on specific cases, multiple victims, or a case involving a child, it could be increased up to $5,000. So, y'all, please, if y'all know anybody, I know snitches get stitches, whatever. Y'all need to make it happen. These people who are brutally murdered or sexually assaulted or kidnapped, human trafficked, whatever the case is, they deserve justice. They deserve to live a free life. Their family deserves answers. So, y'all, we need to do better. I don't care, snitches get stitches. You can report anonymously. Anonymously, y'all. Some people just have a rare gift of making whomever they are with feel like the most important people in the world. Jessica Renee Easterly had that gift. Her friends and family fondly remember her as being a smart, energetic, and absolutely hilarious individual with a razor-sharp wit that was like Betty White. That's what they compared her to. And once you were within Jessica's persona, you always seen her smiling, and you felt like you were on top of the world. She is described as being friendly, lively, and very dynamic, simply full of life. She had a great sense of humor, and she was very quick-witted. And if you don't know what that means like she was quick to come with a comeback when somebody says something. And she literally just took your breath away. She was that type of person. Jessica had an exceptionally happy childhood growing up, and she grew up in Ocean Springs, Mississippi. And she was extremely close to her parents, grandparents, sisters, and cousins. And through all of that, her parents actually did get divorced, and Donna, which is her mom, was remarried, and she married a man named Rick Schmidt, and Jessica was full for it. She welcomed her stepfather with open arms, and they had a great relationship. Jessica loved family traditions and holidays. Marilyn Monroe, Santa Baby, was her favorite Christmas carol, and she loved the color purple. She had a very, very strong passion for reading and dancing and just performing arts in general. And as Ashley grew older, she added music, cooking, and fashion to that list of interests. And she used to put outfits together in creative and different stylish ways in high school. And in 1994, that's whenever she graduated from Ocean Spring High School. And she continued her education at the University of South Alabama. And she graduated there with a degree in audiology and speech pathology. And although she had a happy upbringing, as an adult, she began to experience issues. She was diagnosed with fibromyalgia, and she suffered periods of severe pain, along with depression and some bipolar tendencies. She was prescribed medication for all of those issues, and ultimately, she really just had to go on disability due to those illnesses, which that could put a damper on things. And around 2010, Jessica fell in love with a guy named Justin Durning Jr. It was love at first sight, and it was a guest on a cruise that she went on, which she was invited to by a friend. And the feeling seemed reciprocal, but the couple lost touch after seeing each other only a few times. So they eventually reconnected back in 2015. And They got married in a sunset ceremony on the beach and settled in Lakeview neighborhood of New Orleans, Louisiana. So that's whenever this case starts. It is in Louisiana, y'all. So they moved into Lakeview neighborhood, and that is in New Orleans. The marriage came with what Jessica considered to be a very enormous bonus. Justin had a daughter named Gracie, and this was from a previous relationship, and Jessica dove into motherhood with a warm and very enthusiastic approach. Gracie quickly became the daughter of Jessica, and the feeling was very mutual. However, darker times were ahead. Justin began to isolate Jessica from family and friends, and even controlled her interactions with them. There was physical abuse as well. Her best friend, Maria, which is a domestic abuse survivor herself, identified that the situation immediately, and she understood what Jessica was going through and how Jessica thought she may have been helpless to change things. But Maria tried talking with Jessica and stated that she'd be her ride or die no matter what. And Jessica always seemed to find a way to let Maria know what was happening, despite being limited in her communication with Justin. Because Justin was controlling who she talked to, where she went, all of that. And on August 12, 2019, Maria missed 2 calls on her phone, but she was finally able to pick up on the 3rd call. On the other end, that would be her best friend, sounding very frantic. Jessica begged Maria to come and pick her up, promising to fill her in on the details once she got there. Maria was completely willing to go and pick her up, but she lived several states away. She was living in Mobile, Alabama, and remember, they were living in Lakeview in New Orleans, Louisiana. So she was unable to arrange somebody to watch her kids that day, and she didn't want to take her children with her since she knew how Justin was and how he was very volatile, and felt that the situation could be dangerous bringing her kids. So instead, Maria promised Jessica that she would take the following day off and drive to Louisiana and pick her up after she dropped her kids off at school. Later that day, while Jessica was at the doctor's office with Gracie, the two exchanged texts again. Maria said that she discussed a plan with her husband and they could finalize the details the next day. Jessica told Maria to hang on, and that's because she really just didn't know what was going to happen once she got home. And this would be the last contact that Maria and Jessica would ever have. Maria waited for confirmation of the plan from Jessica that night. She didn't hear from her again all that evening or the following day. On August 14th, Maria received a message from Jessica's Facebook account, but it wasn't from Jessica. It was from Justin, asking if his wife was with her. Maria told him she was not, and she asked about the last time he saw Jessica. Justin said it was around noon on that day, and he mentioned that Jessica had not taken her phone, keys, or her ID. Maria immediately wanted to contact the New Orleans Police Department, but Justin was afraid of freaking out his daughter, as he would put it. The two argued on the messenger, and Justin lied and told her he already contacted New Orleans Police Department, and they told him that he had to wait 24 hours. He accused Maria of suspecting that he hurt his wife. Regardless, Maria sent New Orleans Police Department to Justin and Jessica's home just to do a welfare check. Police took the report on August 15th, but they seemed very disinterested. They thought that the entire situation and the recording of discrepancies in the timeline was just up in the air and very questionable. Justin told them that Jessica was wearing blue jeans and a t-shirt when she was last seen, and that he woke up from a nap at 3 the previous day to find that she was not there. That same day, Justin again messaged Maria, who by now was certain something terrible had happened to her friend. She created and shared a missing persons poster for Jessica, which enabled her to contact Jessica's sisters, Audrey and Amanda. And ultimately, that was the driving force in this investigation. When Jessica's birthday passed on August 17th, without any contact, both the sisters and their cousin Doug decided to travel to New Orleans to meet with the detectives and arrange a search party. So that was 3 days later, y'all. So they arrived early for a meeting on August 22nd and decided to scout out the neighborhood to design like a potential search route. They drove for a few blocks from the home that Jessica and Jessica shared together, and the family noticed that there was this foul odor, and it prompted them to pull over and begin searching on foot. The search led them to this tree line in a wooded area of City Park near the intersection of Orleans Avenue and Neilworth Street, which was close to Interstate 610 underpass. To their horror, there in the grass, the group spotted a badly decomposing body lying in harsh, unremitting Louisiana sun. Despite the condition of the body, which was in black shorts, a black tank top, and black shoes, the family knew immediately it was their beloved sister and cousin. Y'all, what are the odds of that? Like, I know every time, like, a person goes missing, something happens, family is the first to, like, literally start doing their own investigation, going out, creating search parties. But most of the time, they're unlucky. This family stumbled across that body after noticing that foul smell. How horrific. I don't even know how they would feel. And just to really identify that was her. So the family notified New Orleans Police Department, and the body was picked up by the coroner. Authorities did not spend a lot of time at the scene. They basically scooped up Jessica, and they didn't even secure the crime scene. The remains would not be positively identified as belonging to Jessica for 2 months. And due to the mishandling and loss of DNA sample and lack of the follow-up in this investigation, it wasn't until November 8th, y'all, that's damn near 3 months, that the DNA match taken from Jessica's mother was announced, and the remains were confirmed to be that of Jessica Renee Easterly. We got to do better. NOPD, y'all. I hear other true crime podcasts and this, and they always talk about the LAPD. Baby, let's talk about the NOPD. Same scenario. Same freaking scenario. Jessica's body was sitting in the morgue for over 4 months before an autopsy was conducted and the manner of death could officially be announced. The coroner classified her cause and manner of death as, y'all get this, undetermined. It is the coroner who insisted that it was a drug-related death, and anything else could be a possibility, but they just could not rule out that this was drug-related. He further confirmed that the advanced state of the decomposition in which the body had been found had limited toxicology testing that was able to be performed on the liver, and apparently the little bit that was performed on that liver tested positive for methamphetamine and bupropion, which is a medication used to treat a bipolar disorder, with, we all know, Jessica was formerly diagnosed with. So meanwhile, the month after the DNA match was announced, Justin created 2 GoFundMe sites to raise money for a memorial service for Jessica. One was under Jessica's legal name, and another was under the alias by which she was known professionally within her occupation. Jessica had made her living due to her disability as a result of a coercion from her husband, or just by performing with Justin in the adult entertainment industry. They made their living by creating videos and other adult content, performing together on webcams, and selling photographs and other merchandise. So after Jessica's remains were found, Justin hid the fact of her death from her colleagues and fans in the industry. And he continued to pose as Jessica online in order to sell lingerie, shoes, and other personal items. After the DNA match was announced, Justin could no longer sustain the fiction that Jessica was alive. Instead, he found another way to exploit his wife by creating a fundraising page. Supporters were promised personal items such as exclusive photos, lingerie, shoes, and pre-recorded videos of Jessica in exchange for donations. And both of these pages were eventually taken down shortly after they were created and did not result in further exploitation of Jessica. Justin's bizarre behavior continued, and in January 2020, he was actually detained for 24 hours for a psychological observation after he went up to a woman in a bar who was also named Jessica. And he told her that his wife's name was Jessica and that she had died by suicide. And he insisted that she would take all of Jessica's clothes. And luckily, her friend recognized Justin from social media and a post regarding Jessica's death, and she called the police. Justin was detained, but he wasn't formally questioned, and he was released 24 hours later. After the autopsy was conducted, Jessica's stepfather and her sister Audrey met with NOPD detectives. At that meeting, they were told that Jessica's death had been classified as undetermined and was now considered a cold case. Authorities offered theories of accidental death, including that drug overdose, to the family, who was very adamantly against them saying it was a drug overdose, and they wanted the case investigated as a homicide. On January 31st, 2020, the Orleans Parish Coroner's autopsy report was finally released. Jessica had suffered a fractured nose, broken jaw, broken rib, and a broken C4 vertebrae, which is in the neck, along with post-mortem disarticulation of the left second rib along the latter was likely caused by police handling the body. So, did y'all get that? A fractured nose, broken jaw, broken rib, a broken C4 vertebrae, which was in the neck. But you gonna say that this is a drug overdose? No. And then, the fact that the left second rib was messed up because of how the police handled her body. What the hell is wrong with these police officers? No. The coroner's office admitted that the advanced state of decomposition in which the body was found, along with the remains sitting in the morgue for such an extended period of time, likely impacted those results. They said that her body would be released to her next of kin, which would be her husband, Justin, for the burial. But he did not claim the body, and she remained in the morgue. He did not claim her body, but yet he was trying to exploit her. Yeah, you fishy. You freaking fishy. So in March of that same year, a couple in Jessica's neighborhood discovered a blanket and Jessica's crumpled up ID card near where her remains had been found, months after the body had been discovered. Remember, they did not secure the crime scene. They just literally scooped up Jessica's body, threw it up in the dang van, and went about their way. Though they immediately contacted the New Orleans Police Department, it took the police 170 days. 170 days to collect these items from the couple that found it. Yeah. Police. Not doing your job. They did not question Justin as to whether the ID was the same or a duplicate of the one that Jessica had allegedly left behind. Because you remember, he said she left her phone, keys, everything, her ID behind, and she wasn't there when he woke up from his nap. But yet, the ID was found on the side of the road, wrapped in a blanket, and crumpled up. This ain't paper, y'all. It's not paper. Meanwhile, because the police had not performed a DNA test on the ID and the blanket, Jessica's body still remained in the morgue because Justin never claimed it, and her family was unable to lay her to rest. After this disturbing NOPD indifference, Audrey reached her breaking point and filed a formal complaint with the Public Integrity Bureau against the police department for failing to properly investigate the death of Jessica Easterly Durning. And damn right, you're right, Audrey, as you should have. And thank you. Thank you for not giving up on Jessica. 4 months passed before the family heard back from the Bureau that an investigation had been opened into the department's handling of the case. The complaint would eventually be dismissed as unfounded. Later that fall, crime scene investigators were called to the Durning home to collect samples from a futon and a headboard that was set out on a curb as trash. The results of this forensic testing did not come back until the following June, when they revealed nothing incriminating. Like, why does somebody have to tell you how to do your damn job? It should not be like that. You should treat every damn case that hits your freaking fingertips with uttermost respect and your due diligence. Your due diligence to be able to get peace for the family and peace for Jessica, because she did not deserve this. She deserved y'all to be looking for her and investigate her death. Hell, secure the damn crime scene. This is just infuriates me. Ugh. It really, really infuriates me. So, like I said, they didn't find anything incriminating on that headboard and a futon that was put to the side of the road. Jessica's body was ultimately turned over to her devoted family in February 2021. After lingering in the morgue for 530 days. Y'all, 365 days in a damn year. Her body was in the morgue for 530 days. Make it make sense. How, I don't understand. Like, can you imagine how that body would look after a year of being there? No. Damn near a year and a half. Let's go there. Authorities were unable to reach her stupid-ass husband, Justin, and he did not attend the small gathering to say goodbye to Jessica that her family arranged. And due to COVID-19 plans for a celebration of life ceremony, it had to be put on hold because it was unsafe to gather in large numbers. And where the case stands today? Thanks to an online petition started by Audrey and the family in May 2021, New Orleans District Attorney Jason Williams agreed to reinvestigate Jessica's death. The petition quickly gained signatures and was featured on a YouTube video by Kendall Ray about the case. Within 48 hours of release of that video, DA Williams contacted Jessica's family and agreed to meet them. That August, the District Attorney Williams held a press conference at the corner of New Orleans and Neuwirth, where Jessica's remains have been cruelly and unceremoniously dropped and discovered by her sisters. At the press conference, he referred to Jessica's death as a homicide for the very first time, seeking help and tips from the public. Just a few days earlier, Jessica's family had finally held her funeral so that the family and friends could properly say a goodbye. A month later, thanks to funding provided by Season of Justice, a billboard was finally created directing anyone with any information about the death to contact Crime Stoppers of New Orleans. While the family hopes, and perhaps in vain, for increased accountability and more aggressive investigation by the NOPD, Audrey and Amanda and the rest of the family have not given up on uncovering the details of how Jessica died and holding someone accountable for her death. They continue to drive awareness of her case, and with the December 22 release of the weekly podcast, Undetermined, it tells the story of Jessica's suspicious death. It is hoped that her case reaches a wider audience and that somebody, somewhere, holds the key to obtaining justice for Jessica. So, Jessica, like I said, was a witty, smart, full of life with a great sense of humor. She had a fasting wit, and she left friends and family helpless with laughter with her quick comebacks. She grew up loving to dance and perform arts and loved to read. She had a wonderful childhood and was very close to her parents, grandparents, sisters, and cousins. She was an upbeat and lively person. She was diagnosed with fibromyalgia and put on pain medications and, also diagnosed with bipolar disorder. At that time is what it was called. I know it's manic depressive disorder now. So she eventually went on to disability because of that. Jessica's husband, who was thought to be abusive to Jessica and behaved very suspiciously whenever she went missing, as well as after her death, he had a fairly lengthy arrest record. He told people that he was a weapons instructor with extensive military experience, which was revealed to be untrue. He actually made his living by creating adult content online and making videos with his wife, Jessica, under the aliases of Vivian and Lance Anderson. And a friend of the Jessica, Maria, which was her best friend and a very great advocate for Jessica, said that Jessica kept the appearance of having a happy marriage with most of her family and friends. Maria was the only one that really knew what was going on, as she was a domestic abuse survivor, and she knew how controlling and abusive Justin could be, both physically and mentally. Jessica held nothing back from her best friend, and she was the very first person Jessica pled to and helped to get out of her marriage. And although Maria was more than willing to help her friend, they could not coordinate that one day, and Jessica went missing before Maria could pick her up. Audrey, which is Jessica's sister, she was another good advocate for Jessica. She discovered Jessica's body only blocks away from her home. So I'm going to go over the timeline of events with y'all again. In 2010, Jessica meets Justin Durning. Jessica meets the man she would later marry while she was on a boat with friends, and she fell in love with Justin at first sight. And she had a feeling that it was mutual, and they saw each other a few times, but they lost touch. And in the summer of 2011, Justin was arrested twice in Harrison County, Mississippi. On July 28, 2011, he was arrested for driving a vehicle through a barricade under the influence and contributing to the delinquency of a minor. On August 16, 2011, he was arrested again, but that time it was for domestic violence. 2011 is whenever Jessica and Justin started reconnecting, and she moved to New Orleans to be with him. February 25th, 2015, this is when Jessica and Justin tied a knot. It was a beach-themed sunset wedding held in front of an intimate group of close friends and family at the Hard Rock Casino and Hotel. Jessica was in a stunning ivory and backless satin dress with a short train, and the couple, along with Justin's daughter Gracie, settled into Lakeview neighborhood in New Orleans. And on January 16, 2019, at about 3 o'clock in the afternoon, this is when Jessica messaged her friend Maria. Jessica messages her friend, identified as Lo, as she has to cancel their upcoming plans for her to stay at Justin and Jessica's home. Jessica says she is hiding in the bathroom and that she and Justin had just been fighting for the past 3 days. She said he's threatened to kick her out, put her in jail, and is hitting her. She apologized for the last-minute cancellation, and she offers to recommend another place locally where her friends can stay. And she ends the text with, open quotations, Lo, I'm scared, close quotations. August 12, 2019, this is when Jessica calls Maria 3 times, and then she finally answers up on a 3rd time. And this was about 11 o'clock in the morning. Jessica sounded very distraught and was just really begging Maria to come and pick her up, and she would fill her in the details when she got there. And Maria already knew that Jessica was going through this domestic violence relationship with Justin, and how controlling and abusive he was. And she really wished she could have went that same day, dropped everything that day, and go pick up Jessica. The what ifs, could have, should have, all that runs through her mind, as the very next day when she was scheduled to go drop her kids off at school and leave immediately to go pick up Jessica to get her out of that type of situation, to no longer being able to get in contact with her, and then later finding out that her body is badly decomposing on the side of the road a few blocks away from her house, discovered by her sister. So at 2:43 p.m. that same day, the two messaged while Jessica was at the doctor's office, and Maria said she would discuss the plan with her husband so they could finalize the details, basically arranging what to do with her kids. And that was the last time they were in contact. August 13th, 2019. This is when Maria cannot reach Jessica, and she's been waiting confirmation for Jessica to pick her up. Maria receives no response through calls or texts, and it's later reported that Gracie, Jessica's stepdaughter, mentioned seeing Jessica deep cleaning the house that day. August 14th, 2019, at 9 p.m., Justin messages Maria that Jessica is missing using Jessica's Facebook account. He asks Maria if Jessica was there, and she tells him no, and asks, that whole situation. When was the last time Justin seen her? When was the last time Maria talked to her? All that good stuff. And he told her that she left her phone, keys, and ID card at home, and Gracie was just very upset that Jessica was gone. And he protests that it will freak his daughter out if Maria contacts NOPD to do a welfare check. So the two argued on Messenger, and Justin said, "I know how to file a missing persons report. Do you think I hurt her or something?" And that's what he said to Maria. And he lies to her, telling her that he actually created a police report, or he tried to create a police report with NOPD, but they told him he had to contact them after 24 hours of Jessica being missing. But remember, Jessica ignored that and still sent NOPD to the home. August 15th, 2019, at 12:52 a.m., Justin finally files that missing persons report. And when the NOPD arrived at Justin and Jessica's home, Justin tells them he woke up from a nap on August 14th to find out his wife was gone, and says that the last time he saw her, she was wearing the blue jeans and a t-shirt. And he also said that even with the missing persons report stating in one place that Justin last saw her at 1, and then it was close to 12:30, and another, pretty much very inconsistent story. And authorities seemed not interested in dealing with this case at all. And it was only her family and her best friend Maria that advocated for her that got this case really rolling. August 15th, 2019, Justin messages Maria again, asks once again if she knows anything about Jessica's whereabouts, because he's about to go full out on social media. He wants to find Jessica before the whole world hears about their personal problems. He says his daughter is upset that her mother is missing, and Maria is just not having it. She knows that she is the person Jessica would go to if she went into hiding. Maria takes matters into her own hands and creates the first missing persons poster. And Justin responds that he has a lot of powerful people and members of law enforcement looking out for her. And sharing the poster allows Maria to connect with Jessica's family and provide the details on what had been going on with Jessica's sister. August 17th, Jessica's 43rd birthday, passes without hearing from her. The family is terrified when they cannot reach her on her birthday. And that's whenever everyone really realized something was terribly wrong. And August 22nd, 2019, that's when Jessica's sister Amanda and Audrey, along with their cousin Doug, go to New Orleans to meet with the detectives and arrange a search for Jessica. They arrive early and decide to scout out places that Jessica would be associated with near the Lakeview neighborhood and order a search party. While driving around, they noticed that foul smell, and they started walking on foot. And about 2.5 blocks from Jessica's home, they come up on the body lying in the grass in a state of advanced decomposition. And y'all remember how Justin said she was wearing blue jeans and a t-shirt, and whenever Jessica's sister Amanda and Audrey found the body, she was wearing black shorts, a black tank top, and black shoes. So, very inconsistent story once again. And the remains were literally found on a tree line, which was a wooded area near City Park and intersection of Orleans Avenue and Kenwell Street, close to the 610 underpass. And authorities did not spend a lot of time at the scene. They basically just grabbed her body and put her in a van, injuring her rib. September 1st, 2019, DNA is collected from Jessica's mother to confirm that the remains are, in fact, Jessica. They take that sample, and it takes them over a week after the body was discovered to collect it, and then they misplace it, which delays a match for 2 freaking months. 2 months. Justin contacts Jessica's parents on September 2nd, 2019. And this was the first time that he tried contacting her parents since his wife went missing. The content of the conversation is really not known, but Justin been telling people that he suspected Jessica had died by suicide, which was completely inaccurate. October 2019, it is discovered that when NOPD received Mrs. Schmidt's DNA, NOPD placed it on a desk without sending it to the lab. Reason given, no one knew where it was. Yeah, unorganized? Don't give a shit. Yeah, check, NOPD. So that delayed the confirmation of Jessica's identity and delayed the investigation for Jessica. November 8, 2019, the remains are actually finally identified as Jessica. The official confirmation of the DNA match is given, and Jessica's body's still not been released, and the remains are still in this morgue. All this time, Justin had attempted to keep his wife's death a secret from his peers and fans in the adult entertainment industry, and was still, producing videos and created those lovely GoFundMes. He created GoFundMe on December 6, 2019, and he was unable to keep that due to the fact that the DNA match finally was made, and he found another way to exploit his wife. He created GoFundMe to raise money for her memorial service. But if you guys remember, he didn't attend that. So some supporters are promised personal items, and obviously they did not get it. It appears that others took offense to this exploitation, and that GoFundMe only raised $140 before it was taken down. So kudos to that. $140. You didn't collect off of her, boo. You did not. December 15th, 2019, Justin creates another GoFundMe. He stated that he wanted to raise money for funeral expenses. So this is the third one, y'all. And this time, it's in Jessica's legal married name, Jessica Durning. This one is taken down as well. January 15th, 2020 is when Jessica's autopsy is finally conducted, and the cause of death was undetermined. And she was sitting in the morgue for 4 months before an autopsy was done. I don't know that time frame of how fast you do autopsies, but 4 months seems like a damn long time to me. I can understand like a week, 2 weeks. Okay, 4 months, bro? 4 months? How? The coroner further confirms that the advanced state of decomposition in which the body was found had limited toxicology testing to the liver, but it did in fact test for methamphetamine and bupropion, which was the bipolar medication that she had been taking. January 24th, 2020, Jessica's stepfather and sister meet with the NOPD. Rick, which is her stepfather, and Audrey meet with the NOPD, and they are told that this case is not considered a cold case. Authorities offered theories to the family, saying it was perhaps Jessica wandered into the park, a wooded area, and fell down, sustaining injuries, and she perished in a freak accident. Now, do y'all remember? Fractured nose, broken jaw, broken rib, broken neck. Yeah. You think? Where the hell she fell down from? She fell down from a bridge, a pole. She landed. How many stories she fell? Mind you, she's on a tree line. Was she climbing a damn tree and, oh my God, I fell? I think not. I think not. So, they speculate a drug overdose is possible, and Jessica's family wasn't buying it. She wasn't on drugs. They were prescribed, y'all. They were prescribed. Jessica did not do that, y'all. Her name should not be tarnished like that. And NOPD should be freaking ashamed of themselves. January 24, 2020, Justin is finally detained for 24 hours, but it was for a psychological observation, and he approached a woman, again, named Jessica, and says that his wife was also named Jessica, and he wanted to get rid of all of Jessica's clothes and give them to her. He insisted he wanted to give it all to her, but her co-worker was the person who recognized the name from social media and post about Jessica's death, and thankfully called the police. But Justin was detained, but he wasn't formally questioned, and he was released. All this time, y'all, the body's sitting in the morgue for 4 months at this point, and he's trying to create 3 different separate GoFundMe accounts. He didn't attend a freaking memorial service for his wife. You don't think it's fucking suspicious? I'm just trying to figure it out. You don't think it's suspicious? Make it make sense. And Jessica's autopsy was finally released on January 30th, 2020. The Orleans Parish Coroner's autopsy released it, and it indicated that, again, she suffered a fractured nose, broken jaw, broken rib, and a broken C4 vertebrae, along with the postmortem disarticulation of the left second rib, which was done by the police picking up her body. Very unprofessional. Very unprofessional. And the coroner office admits that the advanced state of decomposition in which the body was found, along with the remains sitting in the morgue for such an extended long time, impacted those results. You think you did? Y'all hear it, right? Y'all hear my voice just crackling and just tripping on words? Yeah, I'm flustered. 4 months. Well, no damn shit. Of course that impacted the results. You wait 4 months before you do a damn autopsy. You don't think it's going to affect the results? They state that her body will be released to Justin. Okay? He never claimed her body. March 15th, 2020, neighbors find Jessica's ID wrapped in that blanket. And it was in the Lakeview area, and it was right where the remains were discovered. They called a detective who was working on the case, but again, y'all, police at its finest, took 170 days before they even went obtain those freaking items. Justin had reported that whenever Jessica went missing, that she left all that, right? But nope, it was found on the side road right near her body, and the police would have found that had they freaking secured the scene and actually did their damn job. And Jessica's body remained in the morgue, and the family could not bury her because the police had not informed them yet that the DNA test on the ID and the blanket. So on April 7th, 2020, Audrey, which is aka Jessica's sister, calls Lakeview to follow up. She was telling that couple who found the ID in the blanket to follow up with the NOPD. And the couple tells Audrey that nobody contacted them, nor has there been any police presence where they found the ID and blanket. April 14, 2020, Jessica's family files that complaint. I wish it was Jessica. Audrey files that formal complaint with the Public Integrity Bureau against the NOPD for failing to properly investigate the death of Jessica Easterly Durning. And on August 6, 2020, the Public Integrity Bureau finally responded, which was 4 months after that complaint was filed. And they were hearing back from the Bureau that the investigation is being conducted into the NOPD for the handling of Jessica's case. And they later concluded that the complaint was unfounded, but the probe into Jessica's unclassified death remains open and active. September 1st, 2020, NOPD interviewed the couple who found the ID. Detective Lund of NOPD finally contacts them, and Jessica's body, still in the morgue since August 22nd, 2019. Again, let me reiterate this. NOPD did not interview the couple who found the ID in them, the card, September 1st, 2020. Jessica's body still in the morgue 388 days at this point. October 20th, 2020, NOPD finally visits the Durning home. Crime scene investigators are called to collect samples from a futon headboard that was at the trash. The family awaited the results through October, November, December, and January, and of course, lack of faulty police work kept waiting. November 27th in 2020, they were still waiting on the forensics to come back from the futon headboard that was in Jessica's room that was thrown out to the road, and they were hoping to have it by the end of the year, those results. But at that point, 463 days, Jessica's body still in the morgue. So December 24th, Christmas Eve, they're still waiting for the forensics to come back, and Jessica has been in the morgue for 490 days. February 2nd, 2021. We're working on the second year, y'all. Jessica's body is released to her family. After 530 agonizing days in the morgue, her body is finally released to the care of her family due to her husband not giving a damn. February 16th, 2021, Jessica's family was finally able to say their final goodbyes, and they hold a small COVID-friendly gathering to say their goodbyes to Jessica with the plans of a larger celebration of life at a later date. Justin was not interested in attending his wife's ceremony, and on March 20th, 2021, 5 months, they're still waiting on forensics to come back on the futon and headboard. April 14th, 2021 makes 601 days, which was August 22nd, 2019 to April 14th, 2021. There's still no answers, no accountability, no arrests. And Audrey was like, her sister is just another case, just another number on their list, a box of files being stored with dust on it. And she states, we the people should not have to fight the justice system for justice. Fix the system. Yes, Audrey, yes. Fix this system. Obviously, NOPD mistakenly handled this damn case. Something should have been done. Y'all should have seen. I'm just at this point, I'm beating a dead horse because I'm just repeating myself. It's just frustrating. May 2021, an online petition was started, and Audrey and the rest of the family reached out to the New Orleans District Attorney, Jason Williams, with the online petition to reinvestigate the case of Jessica. And within 48 hours of the release of a YouTube video mentioning the petition, the DA finally contacts the family and agrees to meet them. June 2021, forensics finally come back on the futon and the headboard, but there was nothing incriminating found. August 21st, 2021 is when the funeral was held for Jessica at St. Margaret of Scotland. August 25th, 2021 is when a press conference was held by District Attorney Williams at the corner of Orleans and Neuwirth, where Jessica's body was found, and he asked the public for help and states he is seeking tips in Jessica's case. And he finally referred to this case as a homicide. On January 25th, 2022, 5 months since the DA Jason Williams press conference, to date, there's still been no arrest. So please feel free to give District Attorney Jason Williams a call and ask him where there is the justice for Jessica Easterly. And that DA, Jason Williams, his phone number, 504-822-2414. Y'all, call him. Blow it up. Jessica needs answers. Her family needs answers. She needs justice. NOPD needs to be held accountable for not holding up what they signed and swore to do in their profession. Protect their people. Where's the protection? April 30th, 2022. It has been exactly 1 year since the DA, Jason Williams, held his press conference about the murder of Jessica. And they state, I wish I could say justice was served, but they can't. They can't say much has happened since that DA's press conference, but they can only hope and pray that there is more going behind the scenes. But a call from time to time telling us that they have not forgotten our loved one would be obviously appreciated. There are 60 cameras in Jessica's Lakeview neighborhood, and none of those cameras show how Jessica's body got into Neuwirth and New Orleans. In fact, the detective said that none of those cameras show Jessica leaving her house. There still has been no searches of the house or court or an arrest. So again, fix the system. Jessica needs justice. Ask him, DA Jason Williams of New Orleans, Louisiana, where is the justice for Jessica? And as of August 22nd, 2022, it made 3 years since Jessica's body was found. 125,000 mobile ads will be targeting a 5-mile radius around Lakeview City Mark area and will run for 6 weeks. September 26th on 2022, a billboard was finally put up. A billboard paid by the Season of Justice. And it was put up on the corner of Hidalgo Street and Canal Boulevard in New Orleans. And it said that anyone with information about the death of Jessica Easterly Durning is urged to contact Crime Stoppers of Greater New Orleans at 504-822-1111. And on November 18, 2022, a journalist named Jessica Nall and former detective Todd McComas, along with Tenderfoot TV, they launched a new podcast, and it was called Undetermined, and this was in honor of Jessica. And January 25th, 2023, an online petition was made to New Orleans Mayor Cantrell to call in the Louisiana State Police to investigate the murder of Jessica. Y'all, please sign this petition. And it's on the Contact Us page. I'm going to link that in the show notes. So, for more information about Stalking Prevention Awareness and Resource Center, please visit their website at stalkingawareness.org. If you or someone you know is a victim of stalking or domestic violence, there are resources, people you can contact. The National Domestic Violence Hotline is 1-800-799-7233. And y'all remember, y'all are not alone. Reach out. I promise you there's millions of people out there willing to help you. And in the face of evil, hope is the brightest flame. Jessica was a beautiful, beautiful young girl. And her story should not be over. She was trying to get out of a domestic violence relationship. She knew she was in deep. Justin did not give her that chance. And I think, allegedly, Justin is at blame. He was already beating her and verbal abusing her. And maybe he just thought that, or he found out that she was talking to Maria with plans to leave him. And he took matters into his own hands and killed her. Or maybe not. But, I mean, all this circumstantial evidence and just in general how his demeanor was and how he reacted after his wife died, he was only worried about collecting $1, not that his wife is dead. He didn't even mourn his wife, didn't even show up at her freaking memorial. Where's the freaking questioning that the police should have done? In most cases, the spouse is always the first suspect. Why wasn't this the case in this case? Why Justin was never questioned? Why wasn't he considered a suspect? Why would you jump to conclusions and say this is a drug overdose when clearly it was not? So, if you enjoyed the show, please rate and review us on any of your podcast apps. Apple, iHeartRadio, Spotify, Amazon, wherever you like listen to your podcast. And you can also email Criminalist Behavior Podcast at criminalbehaviorpodcast@gmail.com. You can reach out to us on any of the social media platforms. Facebook, what's those other ones called? TikTok, Twitter, Instagram. Yeah, those. I'm sorry. I am so bad with social media. I'm working on it. But also, we have our website, and it has Patreon. So, Patreon, I'm finally getting ahead on this, but I will be posting the different Patreon things, perks, but basically you start off on different levels and you get different content, never before heard content, early release content, all that good stuff. I'm in the middle of setting it up, so please bear with me. I promise y'all I'm gonna get this out to y'all. But any suggestions, any questions that you may have on this case or on any other cases that you may or may not know that's been out there, or like you know about and maybe a case just hasn't been talked about, let me in on the details. And hell, if you want to be a guest on a podcast, I would love to have you. So again, thank y'all, and be sure to come back on Friday, because we're starting to release our episodes every Wednesday and Friday, so please come back on Friday for our next episode. And until then, this is your host, Sarah Soulier. Don't forget, again, to like, share, follow, or subscribe to Criminalist Behavior, a Louisiana true crime podcast. That's all for me today. Thank y'all. Have a lovely, lovely night, and encourage the justice system to do better, y'all. Thank y'all. Make sure y'all check out the show notes, because I'm going to put all this lovely information in there. Some different text messages you can read that came from Jessica and Maria and her sisters. So, again, thank y'all, and y'all have a great day.